Facing death according to Buddha's words. Facing life and death with mindfulness. Death is often seen as the greatest fear in human existence. People prepare for careers, wealth, and relationships, but very few prepare for the moment when this body inevitably ceases. The Buddha taught that all conditioned things are impermanent. From the moment of birth, death is already following us like a shadow. This teaching is not meant to create despair, but to help us live mindfully and appreciate each precious moment. Why do people fear death so intensely? The Buddha explained that fear arises mainly from attachment. We cling to the body, possessions, and loved ones as if they were permanent and unchanging. Yet when we observe closely, we see that the body is simply a temporary combination of earth, water, fire, and air. When these elements disperse, the body returns to nature. What continues is the stream of consciousness shaped by actions and intentions, like a flame passed from one candle to another. Thus, death is not an absolute end, but a transition within the larger cycle of existence. Mindfulness is the key to facing death with peace. To practice mindfulness means to be fully aware of each breath, each step, each thought, without being lost in regrets of the past or fears of the future. The Buddha recommended mindfulness of breathing as a simple but powerful practice. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. This calm awareness allows the mind to settle, reducing anxiety. By living in mindfulness, one learns to release attachments and therefore approaches death with more acceptance. Consider the example of a man diagnosed with terminal illness. At first, he was overwhelmed with fear and sadness, knowing his time was short. Later, through mindfulness practice, he began observing his breath, sitting in quiet meditation, and spending time with his family in presence instead of despair. He realized that although he could not control the length of his life, he could shape the quality of his remaining days. When he finally passed, his family remembered not his illness, but the peace and warmth he embodied. This illustrates how mindfulness does not remove death, but transforms how we live and face it. The Buddha encouraged reflection on impermanence as a daily practice. Remembering that death is possible at any moment helps us live more meaningfully. Someone who keeps death in mind is less likely to waste time in anger, selfishness, or trivial conflicts. Instead, they cultivate kindness, compassion, and gratitude. Death becomes a gentle reminder that every word and action matters. Facing life and death with mindfulness is not only about the final moment. Each day we can practice small deaths, letting go of anger, greed, or pride. Every time we release an unwholesome habit, something in us dies, but something fresher and freer is born. These small transformations prepare us for the great transformation of physical death. Seeing death as part of life changes everything. Flowers bloom and wither, the moon waxes and wanes, rivers rise and eventually merge into the ocean. Human beings follow the same natural rhythm. When we accept this truth, death no longer appears as an enemy, but as a continuation of life's flow. With mindfulness, death becomes an opening into stillness and possibly new beginnings, depending on one's karma and practice. In summary, the Buddha did not advise us to avoid or deny death. Instead, he encouraged us to face it directly, illuminated by mindfulness. By practicing awareness in daily life, we learn to let go of fear and live more deeply. When the final moment arrives, we can meet it with a smile, knowing we have lived fully. Preparing for death with mindfulness is actually preparing for life itself. This is the art of living in the present and the art of dying peacefully, what Buddhism calls equanimity before life and death.